Good evening, and a warm welcome. In a time when the light of the stars shines above us, and the secrets of the universe lie hidden in the stillness of the night, we embark on a journey that takes us between heaven and earth. The Nephilim, those mysterious beings mentioned in ancient texts, stand at the heart of our contemplation. They were more than mere myths or legends. They were giants, bearers of a knowledge that transcends the limits of our imagination. Imagine them once wandering through the landscapes of the earth, with a gaze that illuminated the human heart while awakening the darkness of its deepest fears. These creatures, born from the union of the celestial and the earthly, pose questions that resonate to this day. What does it mean to be human? Where lies the space between the divine and the human? The stories of the Nephilim invite us to pause and reflect on the duality of existence, the quest for meaning that lies hidden in the shadows of our dreams. As we lose ourselves in these thoughts, we realize that the boundaries between reality and myth are often permeable. And perhaps it is this uncertainty that nurtures our yearning for knowledge and understanding. Good evening and welcome. If you enjoy calm stories, please subscribe and leave a gentle like. So let us dive into the mystique of these giants, who have fascinated humanity across the ages, and explore the symbols they embody. Let us ask the questions that stir the heart of humanity as we immerse ourselves in the night and uncover the secrets of the Nephilim, reminding us of the vulnerability and strength of the human spirit. In this quiet reflection, we will discover that the quest for answers may indeed be the true path we must take to recognize the giants within ourselves. And as the night gently blankets the world, we allow thoughts of the Nephilim to flow into our minds, preparing us for a journey of understanding and inner peace, to explore the infinite possibilities of our own existence. In the soft twilight, where the lines between dream and reality blur, the shadows of the Nephilim rise, those enigmatic giants who walk between heaven and earth. These beings, born from the fusion of divine energy and earthly matter, embody the duality of existence that pulses within each of us, a bridge between the visible and the invisible. Thus, we begin our tale to fathom the essence of these giants rooted in ancient legends and myths, and to venture to the place where their stories come alive. Imagine standing in a vast, untouched valley, surrounded by majestic mountains whose peaks reach into the clouds, as if trying to touch the realm of the gods. The air is pure, filled with a gentle whisper of blossoms and earthy aromas that remind us of our bond with nature. Here, at this sacred place where time seems to stand still, the pulse of the earth is palpable. It is the place where the Nephilim once dwelled, a site steeped in the stories of the ancients. In the midst of this valley, surrounded by glistening waters and lush forests, we catch sight of the first figures embodying the Nephilim. Their forms are imposing. Their eyes radiate a wisdom that has grown through the centuries. Enoch, the wise guide, whose soul is filled with the knowledge of the stars, speaks with a voice that flows like the wind through the trees, gentle yet compelling. He is the mediator between worlds, who knows the secrets of creation and teaches humanity to find their own giants within. Beside him stands Semjaza, the rebellious Nephilim, whose restless energy challenges the elements. With a smile that holds both joy and sorrow, he gazes down upon the people, often trapped in darkness and confusion. He embodies the power of contradiction, the uncertainty, and the curiosity that slumbers within each of us as we grapple with the mysteries of life. These two figures, Enoch and Semjaza, are not merely characters in our tale, but rather reflections of our own inner struggles and questions. They represent the search for truth in a world often marked by illusions and misunderstandings. Their stories are the narratives that inspire us to think beyond the limits of our own perception and connect with the infinity of being. As we delve deeper into this world, we feel the resonance of tales passed down through generations. They are not just myths, but rather lessons of life, teaching us that we all, in our imperfection and vulnerability, possess the ability to achieve greatness by overcoming our fears and unlocking the power of love and compassion within us. But what does it mean to be a Nephilim? Is it the possession of supernatural powers, or is it rather the ability to embrace the human within us while simultaneously striving for the divine? These questions are like gentle waves gliding over the surface of the water, inviting us to dive into the depths of our own souls to find the answers that lie hidden there. In the stillness of the valley, beneath the soft light of the setting sun, the image of the Nephilim unfolds further. Their stories are imbued with a longing for connection, for a place in the world, and they invite us to reflect on our own desires and dreams. Here, at this intersection between heaven and earth, between worlds, is the space where we can recognize the giants within us. As we immerse ourselves in the narrative, we come to realize that the Nephilim are not merely remnants of a long-gone era, but rather living archetypes for the challenges and possibilities we face as human beings. Their struggles are our struggles, their triumphs our triumphs, and in their shadows we find the courage to write our own stories. Thus, we invite you to delve into the mysteries and wisdom of these giants who linger at the threshold between the divine and the earthly. Allow their tales to guide you and open your heart to the lessons they can impart. What will you discover when you muster the courage to embrace the giants within you? Ready to explore the intertwining of myth and reality, we embark on a journey that will lead us into the deepest abysses of human existence, where the Nephilim exist not only as ancient legends, but as living symbols for the challenges we all encounter in our lives. What happens when we realize that the giants we seek in ancient texts are also the giants that dwell in our hearts? The Nephilim, these majestic beings that linger in the shadows of ancient myths and legends, are not just figures living in forgotten pages of history, but rather living archetypes that remind us of our own greatness and fragility. They stand as silent guardians at the threshold between heaven and earth. Their presence transcends time and inviting us to dive into the depths of our own being. Imagine we are in a time when the earth is still untouched and the skies are clear, where horizons seem endless and the light of the stars flows uninterrupted into the night. Here, at a place beyond time, there is a small settlement that glows in the gentle twilight. This community is guided by an ancient wisdom passed down from generation to generation, a wisdom that preserves the stories of the Nephilim and weaves their lessons into daily life. In this community lives a young man named Elian, whose heart is filled with the yearning to uncover the secrets of the Nephilim. His eyes sparkle like the stars in the night sky, as he often wanders for hours in the woods, perceiving the gentle wind rustling through the leaves as the wisdom of the universe. Elian dreams of the giants whose footsteps made the earth tremble and whose voices sang the melodies of the ancient world. He feels a connection to these mystical beings and wonders if he, amidst his own uncertainties and doubts, possesses the strength to change the world. But not only Elian, the wise old woman Mira, known as the guardian of stories, plays a central role in this narrative. Her voice, gentle yet penetrating, recounts the times when the Nephilim descended to support humanity in its quest for knowledge and wisdom. She speaks of the lessons they left us and how we can find our place in the universe through their stories. Mira teaches Elian that the Nephilim are not just physical giants, but also giants of spirit and imagination. She encourages him to view the challenges life presents as opportunities for self-discovery, inviting her to dive deeper into the myths. Each of us carries a Nephilim within, she says, with a smile that seems to offer both comfort and invitation. Thus, Elian begins his journey, not only into the woods, but also into the depths of his own heart. He encounters challenges and doubts, faces his fears and insecurities, yet in each of these moments, he finds the opportunity to recognize himself. He learns that the giants of the past are also the giants of the present, and that it is his task to forge a connection between the two worlds. The days pass, and as the sun rises over the horizon, Elian transforms from a dreaming boy into a young man ready to embrace the legacy of the Nephilim. He begins to view the stories of the Nephilim not merely memories, but rather living teachings that help him find his own path. With each story told, with each conversation held, it becomes clear to him that the Nephilim live on in the hearts of people, that their wisdom is rooted in the depths of human experience. Yet, as Elian continues his journey, he also faces the question, what does it truly mean to be a Nephilim? Is it the physical size that sets us apart, or is it the ability to find within ourselves the strength to influence the world? These questions echo in his mind as he deciphers the secrets of the past and explores the possibilities of the future. One night, as the moon hangs high in the sky and the stars shine with brilliant light, Elian has a vision that deeply moves him. In this vision, he sees the Nephilim not only as colossal beings, but as luminous figures shining in the darkness.
The path of the Nephilim is not merely a road, but an endless labyrinth where light and shadow dance, and where every decision sends an echo through the universe. Seraphil spoke with a voice that brushed like a gentle wind over wide fields, and Elian felt the words penetrate deep into his core. The Nephilim, those giants who exist between the plains, carry the weight of two worlds upon their mighty shoulders, and their story is imbued with conflicts that reach far beyond the human. In a time hidden in the memory of the stars, Seraphil continued, the Nephilim were not only beings of immeasurable power, but also bearers of a wisdom that transcended the limits of understanding. They were the guardians of balance, mediating between the visible and the invisible, between human experience and the spiritual realm. Yet, like anyone who possesses power, their fate hung in the balance, and the conflict that grew in the shadows was the beginning of their trial. Elian listened raptly as visions unfolded before his inner eyes. He saw the Nephilim, towering figures walking in majestic halls among the clouds, and he felt the allure of their presence pulsating in the air like the melody of a long-forgotten song. Yet, the closer he drew to these beings, the more the duality surrounding them revealed itself. "What happened to them, Seraphil? What led to their fall?" he asked, his voice trembling with curiosity and fear. "The Nephilim," Seraphil began with a melancholic undertone, "were once the highlights of heaven, but their greatness led to their isolation. They began to view humanity as beneath them, and this arrogance created a deep chasm between the worlds. The pride they carried became a wall separating them from humanity, which ultimately became the source of their own downfall. The connection to the people, once a source of understanding, turned into distrust and fear." Elian felt the wind around him stir, as if the elements themselves grasped the weight of this revelation. "But how can that be? The Nephilim were powerful. Why couldn't they simply use their power to maintain balance?" "Power is a double-edged sword, my friend," Seraphil replied. "And the Nephilim learned painfully that control and superiority are not always the answers. Their inability to understand the human heart led to a deep rift, and the conflict escalated. The people who once felt protected by the Nephilim began to fight against them, and the vengeance of misunderstanding erupted in a storm of chaos and darkness." "But how can we learn from this story?" Elian asked, his thoughts lingering in the darkness as he absorbed the weight of responsibility that lay on the shoulders of the Nephilim. "The lessons of the Nephilim are not merely stories of the past," Seraphil insisted. "They are universal truths that remind us that no matter how powerful we become, we must never ignore the essence of others. We are all interconnected, and in separation lies the source of suffering. When we recognize diversity within unity, we can leave the shadows of the past behind and build a new bridge between the worlds." Elian felt a glimmer of clarity stirring in his mind as he contemplated the words that sparkled like luminous stars in the night. The Nephilim, the giants of the past, were not just relics of a distant time, but living lessons waiting for him to step into the present. He felt the tension in his heart release, and a new determination flooded through him. "What must I do to find balance, Seraphil? How can I apply the teachings of the Nephilim in my own life?" His voice was calm, almost reverent, as he sought answers. Seraphil smiled wisely. "That is the key, Elian. You must find the courage to embrace your own shadows and not fear the darkness that encounters you. The Nephilim taught us that the path to enlightenment often leads through the unknown, and that the greatest revelations arise from the deepest darkness. You are on the right path, and the challenges you must face are the trials that will grant you the strength to unleash the light that slumbers within you." And in that moment, as he felt the certainty that every step he took brought him closer to his goal, a gentle beam of light shone from the darkness. "Trust in your inner voice, Elian," Seraphil encouraged, "for the path of the Nephilim is also your path. Let the past not bind you, but inspire you to write your own story, one that brings hope and light to the world. You are not alone in this struggle, and the Nephilim stand as silent guardians at your side as you bridge the gap between heaven and earth." If you're still with us, tell us in the comments where you're listening from and leave a soft like. The realization that he was part of this grand cosmic play filled him with a new sense of belonging. The challenges ahead were not merely trials, but opportunities for self-discovery. And he felt that if he faced the darkness and embraced the teachings of the Nephilim in his heart, he would be able to find the harmony between the worlds. And so, with a deep breath and a heart full of hope, Elian prepared to take the first step on his journey, to walk the path of the Nephilim as the stars in the sky, radiant and full of promise, watched over him. As Elian took his first step on the path of the Nephilim, he felt the tender whisper of the wind, as if nature itself wrapped him in a gentle embrace, whispering its determination to him. His heart beat calmly and steadily as he ventured into an unknown future. The moon, full and radiant, seemed to bless him with its silver light, as if it wanted to witness his journey. Yet, as he engaged in this inner dialogue, he sensed a change in the atmosphere around him. The wind, which had been soothing, began to develop into a storm. Dark clouds gathered, and the moonlight was dimmed by shadows. Azrael appeared serious, and his voice grew firm. "The shadows have found you. They are here to test your resolve." Suddenly, Elian heard the whispers of the shadows, an unspeakable murmur that echoed like his own fears. "You are not enough," a dark voice hissed. "You are only human, and the Nephilim are far away. Give up while you still can." Elian felt his knees weaken, and the urge to retreat overwhelmed him. Yet in that moment he remembered Seraphil's words and the light that burned within him. "I am more than just a human," he whispered against the darkness. "I am the light of the Nephilim, and I will not give up." Azrael stepped forward and raised his hands, and in an instant a radiant light began to flow from his form. "Focus your thoughts, Elian. Let the light within you shine and dispel the shadows with your inner strength." Taking a deep breath, Elian closed his eyes and envisioned the light blooming in his heart, strong and unwavering. The dark voices began to weaken as he concentrated on his purpose. He was not alone. The Nephilim were by his side. If you're still with us, tell us in the comments where you're listening from and leave a soft like.
He opened his eyes and saw Azrael, whose luminous presence pushed back the shadows. Elian felt that he was not only fighting for himself, but also for all those trapped in darkness. The light within him grew brighter and more resilient as it began to drive away the shadows. In that moment, he understood that the path of the Nephilim was a journey of inner unfolding and courage, confronting one's own darkness and transforming it into light. The darkness began to fade, and the storm quieted. Elian felt the strength of the Nephilim flowing through him, a wave of hope and determination that gave him the power to continue. The path ahead was still long, but he was not alone. The Nephilim were with him, and with every step he took, the connection between heaven and earth grew stronger. The stillness of the night enveloped Elian like a gentle cloak as he plunged into the infinite expanse of his thoughts. Each step he took on the shimmering path of the Nephilim was imbued with the realization that the struggle he faced was not only for himself, but also for the souls trapped in darkness, a battle far broader than he could ever have imagined. The voices that once urged him forward were now but a faint echo in the distance, drowned out by the clarity granted to him by his connection to Azrael and the Nephilim.
Amidst this inner transformation, Elian noticed that the sky above him darkened, as if it could perceive the conflict taking place deep within the human soul. A weight settled upon his shoulders, and he became aware that the darkness he had pushed back was not simply gone. It had retreated, yet it waited patiently, like a predator lurking in the shadows, ready to exploit the next moment of weakness. Azariel, whose presence shone like a radiant light in the dark, turned to him and spoke with a voice that was both soothing and urgent. Elian, the transformation you are experiencing is a gift, yet there are those who linger in the shadows, stoking the darkness in order to consume it. You must face the truth that your light not only dispels your own darkness, but also acts as a magnet for darkness itself. How can I understand this? Elian asked, as the wind carried his words and the stars above seemed to whisper. How can my light both free and attract? The Nephilim are the link between worlds, Azariel explained with quiet certainty. Your light shines into the darkness to reach the lost souls. Yet there are those drawn to this light, not to be freed, but to steal it and misuse it for their own purposes. That is the price of enlightenment, the temptation that comes with it. Elian felt a chill creeping into his thoughts, realizing that he was not only fighting the darkness within himself, but also against the external forces that thrived on human weaknesses. What if I fall? What if the darkness returns and I am not strong enough to fend it off again? To be a true Nephilim does not mean never to fall, Azariel replied gently. It means to rise again and again, to accept the scars that the fight leaves behind, and to learn from the shadows that surround you. Your light will not always shine, and that is okay. What matters is the resolve to never give up. With these words, Elian felt a certainty growing within him, a new kind of strength that did not stem from the absence of weakness, but from the acceptance of his own vulnerability. Yet a question mark lingered in his heart, a shadow that refused to fade. The darkness was real, and the possibility of being consumed by it was just as real. Suddenly, he felt a pressure on his soul, and the air around him seemed to thicken. He looked up and saw a figure emerging from the mists of night. A being as tall as the Nephilim themselves, yet with an aura of threat that intensified the darkness around it. It was a bearer of shadows, a creature that connected the world of humans with the darkness. What a light, the figure spoke, its voice like the rustle of withered leaves. Do you think you are strong enough to stand against me? Do not believe that your enlightenment can daunt me. Elian felt his heart race, the coldness of the being penetrating deep into his bones. I do not fight against you, he replied, striving to keep his voice steady. I fight for those trapped in darkness, and my light will reach them. Oh, you naive one, laughed the being, and the darkness around it seemed to pulse. Your light may be alluring, but it is also fragile. It will not shine for long before the shadows coil around you once more. The Nephilim may be useful, but they are not invincible. In that moment, the darkness whispering within him, memories of his own fears and doubts. A storm of uncertainty brewed, and he suddenly became aware of the chasm between light and darkness, a divide that existed not just in the world, but also within himself. Yet in the darkness, in that moment of despair, he remembered Azariel and the light he carried within him. The Nephilim was not merely a symbol of hope, he was a living force, intertwined with Elion. "I will not give up," Elion spoke with a new fire in his voice. "I will not disappoint the Nephilim. I will fight for the light, even if I fall." The shadow closed in around him, seeming to intensify. Yet Elion remained undeterred. His resolve was now a flame burning brighter than ever. He felt the light within him pulsing and moving toward the darkness to confront it. "It is not just your light that matters," Azariel whispered within him. "It is the strength of community that protects and empowers us. You are not alone in this fight. You are part of a greater whole, and the light of the Nephilim will live on in you when you share it." As the darkness approached, Elion sensed the other Nephilim awakening within him, their energies merging with his light to form a radiant barrier. "I am not alone," he called into the darkness, and his words echoed through the night. "I am part of the Nephilim, and our light will drive away the shadows." The shadow that had surrounded him began to waver, and Elion knew he was not just fighting for himself, but for all those trapped in darkness. Together, they would push back the shadows and illuminate the night. If you're still with us, tell us in the comments where you're listening from, and leave a soft like.
Thus, a new connection was forged between Elion and the Nephilim, a bond that not only vanquished the darkness within him, but also influenced the darkness around him. The divide between heaven and earth was bridged by his light, and the shadows began to recede, as if they knew their end was near. Yet, as Elion soared in this light, he beheld the true dimensions of the conflict unfolding before him, like a complex tapestry of light and darkness permeating the world around him. A deep, resonant thrum echoed not just in his heart, but in the hearts of the Nephilim, calling him to vigilance. It was Azariel's voice, reminding him that the darkness, no matter how far it had been pushed back, was not entirely defeated. In the depths of the shadows, hidden behind the veil of fear, lay an unknown threat waiting to be unleashed, like a slumbering dragon whose breath threatened to choke the air around him. Elion felt the vibrant waves of the Nephilim pulsating around him. Their powers, united in a harmonious chord, formed a strong bond. Yet the price of this unity was high, and the darkness they fought was not merely an external evil, but a reflection of their innermost fears and doubts. The more they surrendered to the light, the clearer they recognized the shadows lurking within their own souls. The thought that the Nephilim were not only fighting against an external force, but also against the struggles within their own hearts, laid bare a deep inner unease. In that moment of revelation, Elion understood that the true battle was not only taking place in the world around them, but also in the essence of each individual soul struggling against the darkness of despair and uncertainty. Just as he began to surrender to this self-critical realization, a powerful, painful echo pierced the air, sweeping the Nephilim up like a mighty storm. It was a cry that resonated from the heights of heaven to the deepest depths of the earth. The darkness they thought they had defeated had reformed, stronger and more unyielding. The shadows seemed to entwine, and from the crevices of the universe emerged a figure that surpassed even the boldest dreams of the Nephilim. a radiant giant, a Nephilim of ancient times long thought lost. His name was Amarael, and with him came memories of lost wars and broken alliances. Amarael was not just a warrior, but also a bearer of knowledge, a guardian of secrets the Nephilim had preserved for eons. His appearance posed a challenge, for he brought with him the weight of history and the questions that remained unanswered. Why had he returned? What secrets lay within his heart? And what did this mean for Elian and the Nephilim striving to forge a new future? The tension in the air was palpable as Amarael's immense presence spread over the gathered Nephilim. With a voice that cut through the silence like thunder, he spoke. "You who have strayed in light and darkness, do not know the price of the knowledge I bear. The shadows you fear are not merely enemies, they are part of your own story, part of your heritage. Only by confronting these shadows can you uncover the truth about your own existence." A whisper of concern swept through the ranks of the Nephilim as they heard Amarael's words. The notion that the darkness they had vanquished was not just an external evil, but also a part of their own identity, shook the foundation of their unity. Elian felt the strength of the light they had created together falter. The question hanging in the silence was clear. Could they truly accept the shadows that lived within them to overcome the darkness in the world? Taking a deep breath, Elian turned to his companions and spoke with a firm yet gentle voice. "We are not alone in our struggle. The shadows we fear are not our enemies, but teachers, helping us to recognize and transcend our own limits. Let us listen to Amarael with open hearts and seek the truth that can lead us to more light." His words resonated through the group, creating an atmosphere of reflection and understanding. As the Nephilim began to encourage one another in their fears and uncertainties, it seemed the shadow around them began to recede. It was in that moment that the darkness they had fought for so long became a challenge once more. Yet this time, they were not alone. The realization that they were not just fighting against something, but also for something, for light, for unity, and for truth, filled them with renewed hope. If you're still with us, tell us in the comments where you're listening from, and leave a soft like. Amarael, who observed the unfolding transformation, smiled wisely and then spoke with a voice that flowed like a gentle wind through the trees. The Nephilim are not just warriors of light, but also guardians of knowledge. To understand what it means to stand between heaven and earth, you must hear the ancient tales. They are the keys that will help you illuminate the darkness within yourselves. His words conjured images of ancient battles, of glorious victories and tragic losses that the Nephilim had endured. Their own hearts carried. A part of Elian knew they had to confront the truth hidden within the stories, to shape the future they so desperately sought. And so began the journey into the depths of their past, into the shadows that weighed upon their souls, and the answers concealed within the ancient legends. They sensed that as they gazed into the darkness, they would also glimpse the light of their shared destiny. With each step they took, they awakened the memories that strengthened the bond between them, realizing that the Nephilim, who traverse between heaven and earth, are never alone. They are a community, formed of light and shadow, united by the unending quest for truth and understanding. And so, with the knowledge that their struggle was not just for themselves, but for all beings in this world, they stepped forth into the depths of history, seeking the light that would guide them back to themselves. The Nephilim, these majestic beings, caught between the dimensions of light and shadow, found themselves in the midst of a labyrinth of memories and myths, woven like tangled threads into the depths of their souls. The voices of their ancestors, soft yet penetrating, whispered of an ancient conflict that could not only affect the Nephilim themselves, but could shake the very foundations of creation. In this cosmic game, where every decision rippled like a drop of water in a still lake, they began to reveal the layers of their own history. Elian, emerging as the leader of their small group in these moments, felt the weight of responsibility pressing upon his shoulders. His eyes shone, filled with an insatiable thirst for knowledge, as he looked upon his companions. "We must not only understand the stories of our forebears," he began, his voice resonating in the quiet night, "but also the darkness that dwells within us all. Each of us carries a part of this story inside, and it is time we confront that darkness." The other Nephilim, captivated by his words, nodded. They knew that revealing their innermost fears and doubts could be as perilous as it was liberating. The shadows they had long repressed might prove to be the fiercest adversaries of their self-discovery. And as they delved deeper into the tales they had suppressed, it became clear that they were not only fighting external foes, but also their own inner demons. In that moment, as the darkness around them grew suffocating, a new voice began to resonate, one that spoke to them from the depths of history, connecting them with the power of ancient legends. It was the voice of Azora, one of the oldest Nephilim, whose wisdom could bring the light of enlightenment into the deepest corners of their souls. "The Nephilim are not merely guardians of knowledge," she proclaimed, "but also mediators between the divine and the earthly. We are the echo of creation and simultaneously its fragility." With every word she spoke, the group felt increasingly touched by the profound truth that lay behind the myths. The Nephilim, born from the interplay of light and shadow, were the living embodiment of the universe's dual nature. Yet it was in this duality the danger resided. The more they turned away from their fears, the more the darkness threatened to engulf them. The moment the truth reveals itself is often the most uncomfortable, and so it was here. As they began to confront the stories they had long evaded, they were faced with an ancient prophecy left behind by their ancestors. This prophecy spoke of a colossal shadow that would sweep across the earth, caused by the Nephilim's failure to conquer their inner conflicts. "If we do not vanquish the darkness," Elian whispered, "the balance between heaven and earth will be at risk." As the words of the prophecy hung in the air, the Nephilim felt a wave of fear and doubt wash over them. What if they failed? What if their efforts at self-discovery were insufficient to avert the impending doom? The thought of such a dreadful outcome gnawed at their hearts as they lingered in the darkness of past fears. And then, like a ray of light breaking through the clouds, a new thought pierced the darkness. What if our greatest strength lies in unity? They began to share stories with one another, not just from the past, but also from their dreams and hopes. The narratives opened doors to memories long forgotten, awakening the belief in the possibility of a shared future. The darkness we fear, Azura spoke, is not merely an enemy, but also a teacher. If we confront the challenges it presents, we can grow and become stronger. In this moment of realization, the Nephilim felt that they were not alone. They were part of a greater whole, a community shaped by their diverse experiences and struggles. The path ahead was arduous and fraught with uncertainties, yet they were ready to walk it together. As they faced the darkness and shadows dwelling within their hearts, a new strength arose within them, the strength of unity, understanding, and love. And so they resolved to continue their journey, not only to unravel the secrets of history, but also to discover themselves and one another. The Nephilim were no longer mere guardians of knowledge. They had become ambassadors of the light, born from darkness. They were prepared to confront the unknown and embrace the challenges that lay ahead, with the knowledge that each of them was a precious light in this often dismal world. If you're still with us, tell us in the comments where you're listening from, and leave a soft like.
In the nights to come, they would wander through the stories, and each tale would lead them a step closer to themselves. The shadows they feared would turn into mirrors where they could see their own truth reflected. And as the stars shone above them, the light of hope would illuminate each of them while they embraced the challenges of their fate. On their path through the tales of the Nephilim, the darkness would lose its power as the light of understanding led them deeper into the mysteries of their own existence. And thus, the way was paved for a new chapter that could redefine the story not only of the Nephilim, but of all creation. In this newfound clarity, the Nephilim began to question not only their own identity, but also the role they played in a universe that was ever-changing. The question that now accompanied them was no longer whether they existed, but why they existed. These contemplations led them into the deepest abysses of knowledge, and so they wandered further through the labyrinth of their own history, where shadows and light wove together in an eternal dance. Suddenly, they stumbled upon an ancient manuscript hidden in the deepest catacombs of a forgotten temple. The pages were yellowed and fragile, and the characters shimmered with a mysterious light, revealed only to the initiated. It was a chronicle from the ancestors of the Nephilim, telling of a time when the giants between heaven and earth held the world in a constant struggle between light and darkness. These words seemed an echo from a distant past, a call resonating through the centuries, encouraging the Nephilim to face their destiny. Yet as they read the descriptions of their ancestors' glorious deeds, they also sensed the weight of something darker lurking within the words. A warning hinted at, one they could not ignore. The conflict between the Nephilim and the forces of darkness was not merely a story, but a reality that could be reignited at any time. This revelation quickened the pulse of the Nephilim, a sense of urgency swelling in their hearts as they realized that the shadows they had once vanquished might rise again. The understanding that they were not only the guardians of knowledge, but also the last defenders of the light brought them to a standstill. Their path was now clearer yet more complex, and the questions stirring in their hearts were numerous. What did it mean to live in this world when darkness always lurked, poised to strike? What was the price of the unity they so fervently sought? As they turned the pages of the chronicle, they uncovered tales of ancient wars where the Nephilim fought against the darkness, and stories of loss and sorrow that haunted even the mightiest among them. It seemed that every victory they had achieved was not just an accomplishment, but also another burden upon their shoulders. It was a cycle that ensnared not only the Nephilim, but all of creation, a constant struggle between the forces of good and evil. And so the Nephilim questioned whether there was a way to break this cycle, whether it was possible to not only fight the darkness, but to transform it into something that could coexist with the light. These thoughts led them to new insights about the nature of duality, about the necessity of accepting both light and shadow. They were not just warriors, but also healers, and in this acceptance lay the key to their true power. In a moment of silence, as they gazed into the endless expanse of the cosmos, they recognized the significance of their choice. The darkness was not merely an enemy, but a part of the entire fabric of existence, and the light they bore was incomplete without the shadows that surrounded it. This realization was both a relief and a challenge, for it meant that the Nephilim had to not only wage war against darkness, but also seek dialogue with it. In this spiritual struggle, where they redefined light and darkness, the Nephilim wandered back to the roots of their identity, back to the ancient legends that spoke of the symbiosis of these two forces. And as they did so, they felt the energy around them shift, as if the elements themselves responded to their determination. The clouds above them seemed to part, and a gentle golden light fell upon them, illuminating the darkness surrounding them and creating an atmosphere of change. Here, in this moment of revelation, the Nephilim became the architects of their own reality, and the weight of their past began to transform into something beautiful. They understood that their journey was not merely a quest for knowledge, but also a search for harmony that embraced both light and darkness. And so, as the night progressed and the stars twinkled in the sky, the Nephilim vowed to embark on a path that accepted darkness not only as an adversary, but as a teacher. They were ready to explore the secrets hidden in the shadows, and with every step they took, the roots of their determination grew deeper into the earth of understanding. Yet amidst this new hope lurked an unknown danger, eager to break forth from the depths of darkness. A power the Nephilim had never anticipated began to stir, and as they prepared for their journey, they were unaware that the shadows they sought to understand might be far more dangerous than those they had once defeated. If you're still with us, tell us in the comments where you're listening from, and leave a soft like.
For in the darkness that surrounded them lay an energy fed by fear and pain, and this energy was hungry for the light-bearers who dared to come near. Thus began the story of the Nephilim, not only in light and shadow, but in the fragile balance maintained by these two forces and the challenges that lay ahead. Their journey was both intricate and profound. The Nephilim were now not only in search of truth, but also seeking understanding, that the path to unity was not always easy, that darkness often concealed itself with deception and mystery. Yet in this pursuit, they recognized that their greatest strength lay in the interweaving of their stories, in their ability to embrace both light and shadow, and in the hope they could draw from their shared journey. As the Nephilim, in their remarkable unity, ventured deeper into the unknown terrain of their existence, the fabric of their hopes and fears was laced with a dark foreboding, hovering over them like a shadow. It was not merely the fear of the unknown that drove them, but the realization that the original enemy they believed they had vanquished was reforming in an unexpected guise. Unnoticed, another force had manifested, a force that not only embodied darkness, but also knew how to tap into the deepest abysses of the human spirit. This darkness, which they had previously known only in the form of faint memories of past battles, now seemed to have developed a life of its own, striving to tear the Nephilim apart. It whispered doubts into their hearts, fostering mistrust, making them question the integrity of their mission. "Can you truly bridge the gap between heaven and earth?" this voice seemed to call out from the depths of their souls. "Are you not yourselves a product of discord between the two? Can you truly be the light when you were formed from the dust of the earth?" These questions struck like arrows, piercing the heart of their aspirations. The faith they once deemed unshakable began to waver. They faced the challenge of overcoming not only the darkness surrounding them, but also the darkness lurking within themselves. Each Nephilim had to confront their inner struggles to reveal the truths that the shadows had concealed. It was a journey inward, as vital as the external confrontation with the evil that surrounded them. And as they faced these inner conflicts, the essence of this darkness revealed itself as an indictment of all the mistakes and shortcomings they had made in their lives. Thus, the journey became not only a quest for truth, but also a confrontation with the self. The dialogue between light and shadow unfolded not only externally, but also deep within the Nephilim. However, as they delved into this inner darkness, something unexpected happened. They began to draw new strength from the reflection of their fears and weaknesses. The Nephilim realized that the shadows were not only their greatest adversaries, but also teachers. Each doubt, each fear helped them grow, evolve, and let the light within them shine brighter. Amidst this internal struggle, they experienced a profound transformation. The darkness they had once learned to fear became part of their understanding of wholeness. They recognized that the Nephilim were not only bearers of light, but also dwellers of shadow. They were beings capable of embracing the duality of existence, the beauty of life and the sorrow of loss, the joy of growth and the agony of stagnation. As they reveled in this new realization, the threats surrounding them became increasingly clear. The darkness they had internalized was not merely a personal conflict. It was a manifested force raging in the world around them. This darkness extended its long fingers, reaching for the souls of those unprepared to confront the shadows. The Nephilim knew they were not alone in their struggle. All around them, others who were lost and tormented were trapped in the darkness. They had to decide, would they remain in their newfound strength and lose themselves in their abundance of light? Or would they accept the challenge to embrace the darkness as well, to free others? This was the pivotal moment that urged them to think beyond their own survival and redefine the meaning of their mission. In the realization that they were not only fighting for themselves, but for all who lived in shadow, their determination grew. With this newly discovered clarity, the Nephilim set out on a journey to find other bearers of light, those who wished to fight alongside them. They traveled to the deepest corners of the earth, where darkness was strongest, and began to reach the hearts of the desperate. It was a time of change, where they not only endured the solitude of darkness, but also experienced the warmth of the human spirit. And as they spread hope amidst despair, their message resonated. We are here to fight, not just for ourselves, but for all who are lost. Thus, the awareness matured that the true conflict was not merely a battle against darkness, but an invitation to embrace humanity in all its facets. And in this moment of collective resolve, a new light emerged, shining brighter than anything they had known before. A light that did not ignore the shadows, but drew them into the embrace of the whole. If you're still with us, tell us in the comments where you're listening from, and leave a soft like.
And as they walked this path of transformation and engagement, They realized that what they sought was not merely an answer to challenges, but a deep understanding of the complexity of life itself. The Nephilim became ambassadors of balance, and their journey became a living example of how light and darkness are intertwined, an inseparable bond that constitutes the essence of being. And as the Nephilim wandered through the shadows of the world, they began to sense the first signs of profound change. The darkness they so bravely challenged was not just an external threat. It was a reflection of the inner struggles raging in the hearts of people. This realization opened a new dimension of their mission, and the Nephilim understood that their role was not only that of fighters, but also of healers, bridging despair and hope. The message they spread was one of compassion and understanding, and they found that each person they encountered carried their own story, stories of loss, of pain, but also of tireless striving for a glimmer of light. Yet the deeper they ventured into these hidden corners of humanity, the clearer it became that not all were ready to open up. Many were trapped in a web of fear and mistrust, and the Nephilim faced the challenge of breaking through these walls to bring light into the darkest corners. In a small village surrounded by dense forests and mysterious mists, they encountered a community that was engulfed in despair under the influence of a shadowy figure. This figure, once a radiant person, had been consumed by grief and resentment, placing the villagers in a state of lethargy, stifling their hearts with fear and doubt. The Nephilim immediately felt the weight of the darkness that hung over this place, and a deep sense of responsibility surged within them. They gathered the villagers and spoke of their own struggles, of the wounds they had borne and the shadows they had defeated. Yet instead of revealing the light directly, they chose a different path. They invited the people to share their own stories, their fears and hopes in a circle of trust. It was in this exchange that true magic occurred. As the villagers opened up and shed the masks of sorrow, they realized they were not alone, that their fears and struggles were part of a larger tapestry that connected all humanity. The Nephilim listened patiently, and with every word spoken, the darkness faded a little more. Yet the shadows were not yet defeated. As the community began to unite, the Nephilim sensed the looming threat emanating from the dark figure lurking in the shadows. The former bearer of light, filled with hate, was not willing to relinquish his power without a fight. He sent forth his shadow warriors to destroy the budding hope that the Nephilim and the villagers had nurtured with such effort. In that moment, it became clear that the conflict was not merely about the light and darkness of the world, but also about the hearts of the people themselves, a battle for their souls, for the belief in the possibility of change. The Nephilim had to contend not only with external threats, but also with the inner struggles of the people, manifesting in the torn feelings between hope and despair. They knew that this challenge would be the key to their success. If they could get the villagers to believe in themselves, the darkness would be pushed into the background. Yet to achieve this, they first needed to confront the darkness enveloping the villagers and defeat the shadow warriors lurking in the night. If you're still with us, tell us in the comments where you're listening from, and leave a soft like. The wind carried the voices of the Nephilim as they set out to confront the darkness, ready to vanquish the dangers that threatened hope. They had learned that the true battle took place not only externally, but also within, and that the path to liberation often led through the deepest shadows. With each step the Nephilim took into the darkness, they felt the coldness of the shadows wrapping around their hearts. Yet the light of hope burned steadfast and tireless, a flickering flame that even the most relentless shadows could not extinguish entirely. The Nephilim, imbued with a deep resolve, bore not only the weight of their own existence, but also that of the villagers who had lost themselves in their belief in goodness. Like a gentle melody resonating in the stillness of the night, they were the guardians of this longing, and every step into the darkness was a step into the unknown. The shadows that stretched before them seemed alive, pulsating with a darkness that devoured the light. Yet the Nephilim were not alone on their journey. They felt the enduring presence of the villagers whose hopes and fears swirled around them like the wind, and their hearts, beating in harmonious rhythm, gave the Nephilim the courage to face the challenges ahead. "What is it that we truly fear?" asked one of the Nephilim, his voice like a gentle stream cutting through the silence. "Is it the darkness that surrounds us, or the darkness that we carry within?" The others looked up, their faces etched with deep contemplation. Each of them had noticed in recent days the rigid walls of their own fears holding them back, leaving them feeling powerless. They realized that the shadow warriors were not only external foes, but also manifestations of their deepest doubts and insecurities. "We must first find the light within ourselves," whispered a gentle voice, breaking through the darkness like a faint beam of light. "Only then can we defeat the darkness around us." With this thought, the Nephilim began to confront their inner demons, which had kept them trapped in the shadows. They recalled their childhood, their dreams, and the carefree days when the world was still full of possibilities. The memories flowed like a gentle waterfall, and as they shared the stories of their past, the light that burned in their hearts grew stronger. Piece by piece, the memories illuminated, and the darkness around them seemed to recede. A sense of connection emerged, and they began to understand that each of them, regardless of size or power, had the ability to dispel the shadows. In that moment, they recognized that the shadow warriors they sought to defeat were, in reality, the many faces of their own fears. This realization brought forth a new kind of clarity, and determination surrounded them. Like a living mosaic, their thoughts and emotions wove together into a powerful unity. It was no longer merely a battle against an external threat, but a profound inner journey that challenged the very essence of the Nephilim. "Let us stand together," one of the Nephilim called out, his voice firm and clear. "Let us combine our strengths and embrace the light within ourselves. Only then can we conquer the shadows that hold us captive." With renewed courage and resolve, the Nephilim ventured deeper into the darkness, their hearts united and filled with light. Each step they took was a testament to their choice to not fear the darkness, but to embrace and transform it. They saw the shadow warriors emerging from the gloom, a myriad of shapes and sizes formed from the fears and doubts of the villagers. Yet instead of fleeing or hiding, the Nephilim stepped forward, their hearts pulsing in harmony with the strength of the light they carried within. "We are the Nephilim. We are the bridge between heaven and earth," they shouted in unison, their voices merging into a powerful echo that sliced through the darkness. The shadow warriors, taken aback by the unwavering determination before them, hesitated for a moment. In that instant, as time seemed to stand still, the Nephilim realized that the true power of light lay not in battling the darkness, but in acceptance and transformation. They began to let the light within their hearts shine forth, and the shadows, once so menacing, began to dissolve and dissipate. The Nephilim sensed the darkness receding as their light grew. With each breath, with every touch of the light they carried, they created a space of hope and faith that enveloped and empowered the villagers. The shadow warriors, who once seemed so powerful, transformed into fleeting apparitions that could not withstand the force of faith and hope. And so, as the Nephilim continued to face the challenges of darkness, it became clear to them that the true battle was not against the darkness itself, but against the beliefs that had taken root in the hearts of the people. The villagers began to gather, their eyes alight with what they saw and felt. They sensed the change and the power of the light manifesting through the Nephilim. They joined in the song that broke through the darkness, and with every word, their belief in themselves and the possibility of a brighter future blossomed. The Nephilim understood that the darkness needed not only to be defeated, but transformed into something that would bring strength and hope to the villagers. This thought, a new perspective on darkness, was the key to liberation. The Nephilim and the villagers now stood shoulder to shoulder, united in the conviction that the light they bore was strong enough to dispel even the deepest shadows. In that pivotal moment, the ground beneath their feet became a living expression of change, and the light they let shine together was not just a flicker, but a radiant sunrise that would banish the night's darkness. The Nephilim knew that their journey was far from over, that many trials awaited them. Yet they now carried within them the knowledge that true strength lies not only in overcoming darkness, but in the shared belief in the light that burns in each of them. So they moved forward, together as one, with the certainty in their hearts that victory over darkness was found not in isolation, but in community and faith in the good. The darkness held no power over them anymore, and as the first rays of morning illuminated the horizon, they knew they were ready to carry the light of hope into the world, not just for themselves, but for all who were trapped in the shadows. The Nephilim, now with a new understanding of their purpose, embarked on a journey that would lead them not only through the endless expanses of their homeland, but also into the deepest corners of their souls. Each step they took was marked by the knowledge that the shadows they once feared were now a part of them, a necessary component of their identity that they had to embrace to be whole. In the gentle embrace of morning, as the birds began their harmonious song, it felt as though nature itself welcomed their new mission, as if the trees and the wind encouraged them to continue bridging the gap between heaven and earth. The villagers, once marked by fear and mistrust, began to open their hearts and trust the Nephilim. It was a slow but steady transformation that brought the community together, teaching them that each of them, whether human or Nephilim, possessed a special gift waiting to be discovered. These gifts, once seen as weaknesses, now revealed themselves as keys to a new reality where the light of hope could spread endlessly while the darkness retreated. Under the rays of the sun, flowing like liquid gold over the landscape, they began to take their first steps into a new era. They worked together in the fields, planting seeds that would not only bear fruit,
but also renew the faith in their community. In those moments of simple everyday work, they discovered the power of connection, a power stronger than any shadow that had ever swept over them. Yet as the villagers embraced the blessings of the new day, the stillness of dawn was suddenly pierced by a deep, rumbling sound. An earthquake so mighty that it shook the ground beneath their feet and filled the air with palpable tension. They looked at each other, a fleeting glance of concern that quickly shifted to determination.
Felt the arrival of a new dawn, and with it, the endless possibilities that lay before them. They sensed the gentle touch of light breaking through the fractured clouds, and with every sunbeam that kissed the ground, a new dimension of being awakened within the Nephilim. The air was filled with a fresh clarity, carrying the scent of damp earth and the promising whisper of blossoms to come. Time seemed to stand still as the great beings, now filled with inner strength, gathered to explore their next challenge. The wind carried the voices of the past, echoes of doubts and fears they had carried deep within their souls. Yet now, these voices were merely a faint murmur, a breath of memory fading into the vastness of the new day. The Nephilim recognized that it was time to face not only their own darkness, but the world around them, often marked by the shadows of ignorance and fear. With a shared gaze radiating both determination and unwavering confidence, they stepped forward as if renewing the very earth with each stride. The path led them into a vibrant landscape blooming in countless colors. The diversity of nature mirrored the various facets of their own being, and they felt a deep-rooted connection to all that was. In the distance, they spotted a gentle rise, appearing like a throne amidst the expanse. It was the place where they could gather their strength and grasp the essence of the new. As they drew closer, they noticed that the way was lined with ancient ruins, remnants of a civilization that once shone brightly but had been forgotten. These ruins were witnesses to the pain and struggle that had transpired between humanity and the Nephilim. The Nephilim paused, and a wave of compassion washed over them. They recognized that the people, in their imperfection and fear, had also undergone a deeper search for understanding and connection. It was the desire to overcome darkness and embrace light that often led them astray, causing them to see the Nephilim as a threat. Could it not be our task to dismantle these walls of separation? Asked one of the Nephilim, his voice deep and resonant. Could it not be up to us to show humanity that we are not their foes, but rather their mirrors? His words echoed among the stones of the ruins, and the others nodded in silent agreement. Thus, they set forth to explore the ruins, not as intruders, but as learners, ready to listen to the stories hidden in the faded mosaics and broken columns. They touched the cold stones, felt the history that lived within them, and as they did, a deep understanding awakened in their hearts. The Nephilim sensed the vibrations of sorrow and loss that flowed through these ancient places. They experienced the struggles of humanity, their hopes, their dreams, and the mistakes they had made. It was an urgent feeling that permeated them, urging them to grow with this knowledge, to not only exist, but to teach and to heal. "Perhaps," said another Nephilim with a voice that sounded like a gentle breeze, "we can not only recognize the darkness that dwells in the hearts of humanity, but also embrace and transform it." His thoughts intertwined with the others, and they began to develop the idea that their purpose was not only to accept their own darkness, but also that of humanity. In this realization unfolded a new dimension of togetherness, a promise that mattered not only for themselves, but for all beings living between heaven and earth. And so, while they lingered in the silence of the ruins, they wove a bond of understanding and compassion that was stronger than any darkness they had ever known. With this new insight, they turned toward the gentle rise before them, ready to continue their journey of discovery. Each step was now carried by the conviction that overcoming darkness was not a struggle, but a dance of creation. And so the Nephilim moved onward, through the light of the new morning, the sound of their own hearts in harmony with the pulse of the earth. The path ahead was filled with possibilities, each moment a gift. And as they approached the unknown, they knew they were not alone. The shadows of the past had taught them that darkness also bears light. In this certainty lay an immeasurable power that encouraged them to make the impossible possible, and thus they began to shape their vision for the future. A future in which the Nephilim and humanity would no longer be separate, but united in the quest for light and truth. Here, at the threshold of a new reality, they felt the arrival of a profound realization that not only guided them, but also gave them the strength to take the next step. They were ready to embrace the challenge before them and to transform the darkness they once feared into a space of possibilities. So they stood in the twilight between two worlds, ready to build the bridge that connected the realm of light with the depths of shadows. The Nephilim felt the pulse of the earth vibrating beneath their feet, a mysterious echo from the depths reminding them of the memories of past struggles and triumphs. In this shimmering moment of dusk, where the boundaries between worlds blurred, they took a deep breath and felt the vibrations of the cosmic dance unfolding around them. This realization that darkness was not merely the absence of light, but a space full of undiscovered possibilities, filled them with a deep, peaceful determination. They knew that every step they took on this bridge was an expansion of themselves, an invitation to humanity to lay down their fears and prejudices, to step into the light together. It was a path filled with uncertainties and challenges, yet within this uncertainty lay the potential for transformation. The Nephilim closed their eyes and visualized the people trapped in the shadows of their own fears, discovering that the greatest giants they ever had to battle were not made of flesh and blood, but of doubts and misunderstandings. With every thought they sent into the world of humanity, they felt the resonance of understanding slowly rising, like the gentle wind sweeping through the forests. The Nephilim began to speak a language that transcended words, a language that touched the souls of humanity, gently reminding them of their own greatness. They were not merely observers in this reality, but active co-creators, recomposing the melody of life with each heartbeat. The darkness they once viewed as an enemy became a partner in the game of creation. They recognized that shadows did not signify the loss of hope, but rather the opportunity to redefine light and experience it in a deeper, more authentic way. In this time of change, the Nephilim felt energies around them intensifying, as if the world itself awaited their decision to build the bridge. The challenge was not only to reach humanity, but also to transform the Nephilim themselves. From giants trapped in darkness to bearers of light, planting seeds of hope in the hearts of humanity. Thus, they stood at the edge of transition, their hearts united in an unwavering belief in what was to come. The darkness that engulfed them was no longer a burden, but a precious part of their story, from which they would draw strength. With one last deep breath, the Nephilim opened their eyes and stepped onto the bridge together, a symbol of their determination to unite light and darkness in harmonious unity, guiding humanity on a journey that transcends all imagination. The bridge on which they stood shimmered in the soft light of dawn, seemingly leading into infinity, as they faced the challenge of confronting the deepest fears and doubts of humanity. Their hearts pulsed in unison, ready to confront the ancient woo. The Nephilim stepped onto the shimmering bridge, their powerful forms infused with a gentle light that transformed the darkness that once surrounded them into a radiant glow. As they took the first step, they felt the connection to the people waiting for them across the chasm, a sensation both new and familiar, an echo from the past.
Have the courage to connect with one another and to embrace the magic of life. For within each of us lies the ability to make a difference, not through size, but through the magnitude of our hearts. Thus, let the stories of the Nephilim continue to live within us as an eternal light guiding us on our own path. A light reminding us that we are never alone, and that the connection between heaven and earth is anchored in our very souls. And as we settle down to rest, we let the thoughts of these wondrous beings and their message of unity sink into our subconscious, wrapping us in the stillness of the night. May our spirits dive into the gentle waves of dreams and carry us into the expanses of being, where the stories of the Nephilim resonate in harmonious melodies, reminding us that we are all part of a greater whole that transcends the boundaries of space and time. In this quiet moment, we can feel the gentle touch of the universe embracing us, urging us to explore the mysteries of existence as we absorb the heartbeat of the world within us. The Nephilim, these majestic beings, remind us that greatness is not solely rooted in physical being, but rather in the depth of our feelings and the magnitude of our dreams. As we surrender to the darkness of night, we let the thoughts of the Nephilim come alive within us, carrying their stories into the infinite expanses of our imagination, embarking on the journey of being illuminated only by love and belief in the possible, and thus strengthening the bridge between the worlds, remembering and encouraging us to find the courage to let our light shine. The fate of the Nephilim is inextricably linked to the fate of humanity. If we embrace the lessons and wisdom they have left us, we can transform darkness into light, solitude into community, and fear into hope. It is up to us to strengthen the connection to our inner selves and to one another, so that we may embrace the wonders of life that reveal themselves in every breath we take. And so we conclude this journey with the assurance that the Nephilim serve not only as reminders of the supernatural, but as inspiring beings that expand our understanding of love, unity, and existence. May we dance with them in our dreams, integrate their wisdom into our lives, and further solidify the bridge between the worlds we all traverse. If this journey resonated with you, subscribe, enable notifications, and rest well.
Within each of us lives the echo of their voices, and as we walk the path of life, may we always feel the Nephilim as our quiet companions.